Obviously, the goal is to get back out drilling, and anything you could touch on there for folks who are following the company.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely targeting a drill program here in the short term. We've got a couple of different groups that have actually approached us that nothing is firmly in place, but are interested in possibly doing something with us on the project. So we're listing on ideas on that front as well, whether that's a JV or other ideas. It's definitely we need to get the company back up drilling and going, and that's it's more than warranted. It's one of the best silver gold assets, certainly in Mexico, if not other parts of the world. There's not a lot of quality silver exposure out there, and we certainly have that both with our high grade and our low grade that would come with an potential open pit heap leach operation down the road. But we don't need to be an open pit heap leach operation. There's enough high grade breccia structures here that this could become an underground standalone operation by itself. And especially if we can prove up that Quinton headache model of that deeper contact, where you could get into a multi-million ounce gold silver deposit with base metals and at depth, and that would be fully underground as well. So this it's still a very special project. It's still a project that needs a lot of drilling to see how big and how it can possibly get. But and we were going to get back to that, and we'll get back to that very soon. So excited for that. If that times out really well with potentially drilling and having results in September with potentially a rate cut from the Fed, that would be pretty exciting times. And September is normally a good time in our sector and industry as people come back from summer holidays, and you tend to see metals prices and stocks perform very well around that time as well. So I think stars may be aligning for us on that front, and excited to see what that can bring.
Yeah, and Steve, in there you mentioned that you feel it is one of the best projects that are out there of that type, and certainly with the region that you're in. But perhaps for anyone who might be hearing about Silver Viper for the first time today, could you explain what it is specifically about the project that certainly got you interested, but also leaves you feeling that way?
Yeah, I mean, it's one, you're in a very mining friendly state in Mexico. It's the number one gold producing state, and number three or four depending on the year in silver in Mexico. It's a state government that is very much it's the number one industry in the state. They're very keen on having additional mines opening up and doing different things. So permitting's always been very friendly. We've got our summer or drilling permits in place for 5 years right now that we just got this year. So again, it's drill ready. All of our targets anywhere we want to drill. But the main thing is, I mean, people forget we've already sitting here with, as of our last resource, never mind all the drilling we've done since then that would expand on that resource. But we've got 49 million ounces of silver equivalent, or 700,000 gold equivalent ounces. Probably quite a bit higher than that now with the 300, the expansion of 300 meters on El Ruby to the south, which would all be filling in and what was open pit resource on that front. And then we've got all these, dozens of targets that have never been drilled that the team in the interim from when we did finally pause drilling have been exploring and seeing these high grade breccia structures, seeing, stuff surface sample higher than our discovery at El Ruby, which has been our main event. So El Molino will be drilled in that first phase of drilling, and that's 2 kilometers east, showing the potential for another, parallel trend. And these trends run for 100 plus Ks. It's just vectoring in on where the best mineralization and blowout is on the project. And we've got a large land package. We can go kilometers north south along any trends on the project with lots of targets. So it's got the size potential. It's in a good jurisdiction. It's got, if you're concerned about the open pit side with the current regime in Mexico, I think there's going to be some changes moving forward on that. But again, we have the potential to be an underground deposit as well and restructure the whole thing. The state's known for open pit heap leach mining, so we modeled our resource after that. But we have, kilogram plus silver pretty consistently throughout our high grade breccia structures. So again, there's lots of different ways to look at the project, and we're, open to that. Or ultimately the mining company that ends up buying the project will make that decision how they want to mine it. But again, I think there's not a lot of, like you said, there's not a lot of quality projects out there that have silver exposure. In our case, we're about 60% gold, 40% silver. So even if silver prices don't run, we get, a very healthy exposure to the gold prices that have been economic back at $1,200, for open pit heap leach mining in this state. So again, I think we've got double or triple the grade on the open pit side that the existing mines and the average grade of those existing mines in the state. Plus, we have our silver exposure. Our metallurgy is very good. It's a special project. It just needs more drilling and to prove up how big and the size it can get to. And as we all know, the market's been tough over the last couple of years, but we're ready. We're ready to get back at it, and we're exploring all the different ways that we're going to do that. So very excited to see what the next 6 months brings for the company.